Have you ever woken up and been paralyzed and unable to move? Maybe you've sensed that there's somebody in the corner watching you. Or maybe you felt really heavy pressure on your chest and that something aggressive is happening and there's nothing that you can do about it. I've just described the experience of sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis affects about 7.5% of the population at one time or another. Slightly more women than men will experience a sleep paralysis episode, and it's also more common in the non-white population. It's also more common in people who have idiopathic hypersomnias, narcolepsy, insomnia, sleep apnea, anxiety disorders, low sleep quality, alcohol use, recent trauma or bereavement, big changes in life, and stressors, which all can impact sleep quality as well. And very interestingly, many studies are starting to show a potential genetic predisposition to experiencing sleep paralysis. So if you have a close blood family member who also experiences sleep paralysis, that might make you more likely to experience an episode. So what exactly is happening during sleep paralysis? Basically, you're waking up during REM sleep. When we experience REM sleep, we become paralyzed so that we don't act out our dreams. If we were to act out our dreams, we might injure ourselves or somebody else. But if we become conscious during REM sleep, so the conscious part of our brain wakes up while we're still in REM sleep, our body can remain paralyzed, although we become awake. So we still have the effect of paralysis from the state of REM sleep that we've just woken up from, but our brain has become awake and aware of the experience. Usually we're sleeping right through it. And because it is not a usual experience for us, it can provoke fear. This fear can supercharge our safety system, our amygdala, and this can be in part what creates this sensation of other people in the room. It's almost like our brain begins to generate a reason to be afraid in order to justify the fearful experience. People who feel pressure on their chest could be also experiencing the leftover bodily effects of REM sleep. We tend to breathe more shallowly and more irregularly, build up a little bit more carbon dioxide when we're breathing shallowly and irregularly. So if we become conscious during that experience, we can feel like we don't quite have enough air, and that might feel like pressure on the chest or like we're suffocating. And up to 20% of people can actually experience a more pleasant type of hallucination. They can vary in their content from out-of-body experiences to more of a lucid dreaming type experience. It can be reassuring for a lot of people to understand that sleep paralysis is not dangerous. It is simply a mismatch where our brain becomes aware of the paralysis that is normal within REM sleep when we wake up during REM sleep. Now, research into interventions for sleep paralysis leaves a lot to be desired. It looks like managing the triggers for the sleep paralysis episode and the response that we have to it is a really positive potential route for helping a lot of people with this problem. What can happen for a lot of people is that they become so fearful of the sleep paralysis episode itself that they develop insomnia or they develop poor sleep quality. Poor sleep quality is a risk factor for the triggering of a sleep paralysis episode, and so it can become a bit of a vicious circle. So reducing the fear of the episode itself through understanding exactly what it is a great first step. Improving sleep quality is another really important thing to do. Now, part of this relies on an accurate diagnosis because sleep paralysis can come part and parcel to a lot of other sleep disorders that are more medically managed. But if it is a sleep paralysis episode that is a response to stress or to primary insomnia, doing things that can help improve sleep quality can be a great intervention. In addition to looking at basic sleep hygiene, approaches like CBTI and ACT to help with the hypervigilance and the insomnia and the response to the sleep paralysis episode could be quite helpful. Managing stress and stressful triggers, whether you have insomnia or not, is always going to be good for your sleep quality. Identifying triggers that set off your sleep paralysis episodes is step number one. But what should you do if you wake up in the middle of a sleep paralysis episode and you realize that you are in the middle of a sleep paralysis episode? If you've had multiple sleep paralysis episodes, you might be at a point where you find yourself stuck in one and you recognize what's happening. First, practice reminding yourself that you are safe. It is not dangerous to experience sleep paralysis, even though it's scary. There is no figure in the room and there is no aggressive act happening, and you are not suffocating. This is simply a confusion that's happening in the brain because of where you are with that mismatch between the REM sleep paralysis and your level of consciousness. Once you've reassured yourself, there is some research to suggest things like imagery rehearsal or learning to lucid dream could help with the remainder of the sleep paralysis episode. You can take that negative, scary content and change it into a more positive experience. If the experience is more positive and it's less fearful, it's less likely to provoke the kind of reaction that a really negative experience would provoke. And it's more likely that it will not have such a big impact on sleep quality. And of course, reduction of sleep quality makes it more likely to experience more of these episodes. So if the experience can be changed into a less threatening one, or maybe even a more positive one, and the whole experience can be reframed so that you know that you're safe, it's going to have less impact on your sleep, which is going to help improve your sleep, which makes it less likely that you'll have more episodes. So it's like taking that vicious circle and rewinding it in the other direction. So if you found this video interesting, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. More will be coming. If you've ever had sleep paralysis yourself, drop a comment and describe your experience. And I think everybody would be very interested in knowing if you engaged in any kind of intervention that actually really helped you with your sleep paralysis. If you have any questions, you can book a free 20-minute chat. I will put the link below. I look forward to speaking with you, and I hope you found this video helpful.